This is Paul Turner, the Immigration Barrister at Imperium Chambers. Please subscribe to my channel and I hope you enjoy the new microphone. EUSS settlement scheme. Good news for a change. For those that, especially for those people that missed the 30th of June 2021 deadline. We thought at the time that that deadline was not going to be extended. It hasn't officially been extended, but there is the option to actually make an application later. I'm going to be discussing that now. Now back to the EUSS. If you are from the EU, Switzerland, Norway, Iceland or Liechtenstein, very few people from there, you and your family might be able to apply to the EU settlement scheme to continue living in the United Kingdom. You might also be able to apply if you're the family member of an eligible person of Northern Ireland, obviously part of the United Kingdom. The deadline for most people to apply for the EU settlement scheme was the 30th of June 2021. And we're now in September 2021. So what can you do? Well, listen on. If you or your family are from the EU, Switzerland, Norway, Iceland or Liechtenstein, you can still apply if you or a family member were living in the United Kingdom by the 31st of December 2020. You must either meet one of the criteria for a later deadline to apply or have reasonable grounds for not applying before the 30th of June 2021. You can also apply if you have pre-settled status and you're applying for settled status. You may be able to stay in the United Kingdom without applying. For example, if you're an Irish citizen or you already have indefinite leave to remain or indefinite leave to enter. Because if you've got that, there's really no point applying for the EUSS because you won't do any better. If your application is successful, depending on how long you've been in the United Kingdom, you will either get settled status or you will get pre-settled status. Now, this is the real crux of this video, and this relates to the fact that people can still apply for pre-settled or settled status now, which is well after the 30th of June 2021 deadline. For example, if you're joining a family member who is living in the United Kingdom by the 31st of December 2020, your deadline will be based on when you arrive in the United Kingdom, as long as you were their family member by the 31st of December 2020. This does not apply apparently to children born or adopted after this date. And the family relationship still exists when you apply, which is obvious really. Now this is the most important part of this video. You can also apply if you can show reasonable grounds such as medical reasons or being the victim of domestic violence for why you did not apply by the 30th of June 2021. As it's mentioned, reasonable grounds are going to need to be based on fact and they're going to need to be supported by evidence, such as the domestic violence or ill health or the pandemic or other particular factors. This is where we can help, as if you do not provide reasonable grounds and evidence to support it, your application is likely to be refused. If you already have pre-settled status, you are going to need to apply for settled status before your pre-settled status expires. Otherwise, you could end up becoming an overstayer and subject to the hostile environment. Settled status will allow you to stay in the United Kingdom for as long as you like. You can usually apply for British citizenship once you've had settled status for 12 months. It's akin to indefinite leave to remain. Well, what happens, some people ask me, if you're waiting for a decision? Well, as with the older immigration regulations in respect of the EEA, once you've applied, you'll get a certificate of application. The certificate will explain what you can use it for whilst you're waiting for a decision, whether you can use it to prove your right to work, which is generally what happens, and if there's a long delay you can apply for another certificate of application, and I've had many clients do that as well. And finally, the good news is that I'm sure the government doesn't like it, but it's actually free to apply for the EUSS. So the good news is that whilst the 30th of June 2021 deadline has expired, you can still make an application if you meet one of the criteria or you have reasonable grounds as to why you didn't make the application earlier. However, given the Home Office's predilection to say no, it is vital that you do that with a proper lawyer, and I'm more than happy to help you. So if you have advice or you want some advice in respect of the EUSS or any immigration matter whatsoever, please feel free to contact me and I'll do my level best to help you. As I always say, please stay safe, especially during these dangerous times, and I hope you remain well, and I hope you've enjoyed this video. Thank you very much for watching. This is Paul Turner, the Immigration Barrister at Imperium Chambers.